exactly. So then if you're feeling controlled, I don't want you to take it out on them and be like, well, no, this and that.
She would never control me. Like you. So you telling me that as a man, I need to sit there and allow a woman to control me that ain't the person that I'm with?
No, but if she says something, you ignore it and you give her. That's it. And you don't have to sit there and fight.
Listen what you're saying. You talk.
Except you are an island. Must protect yourself. Look at this world, it's no surprising. Scouting, spiritual boss up if you about it. Let them close. Must make sure they are keeping it 1,000. In her feeling, my advice is you not playing houses. She meet you on your level. Only way to stay around you. These folks be wildin' by yourself. You an island. Must protect yourself. Retirement planning. Give these women houses. Don't listen to these folks. They talking strange, man. Stop playing with the Lord. Pull her face up in a king, man. If she cross, understand. Gotta stay out your feelings. Lord, to no man. You best be quick to bring out scissors. They say be sweet. Let's 18. Thoughts and leave. Question why you need to up your week. Too old to play the game's attention when you speak. Crush your gold, now big price they pay for therapy. These folks be wildin' by yourself, you are an island best.
Previously.
You don't understand why I say that about.
You say what?
You know that I would help her for free. Because you take it as if I'm saying, oh, everything could be going good for her, and I go help her for free. Like when I say I would help her, same with me.
No, because how would you know?
No, exactly.
So what are you saying? If things are going good for her, you wouldn't help her, or what?
I'm just saying that I'm a forgiving person. Like, I don't have no grudge against these people, and I see that that is what you do not like.
No, I don't like that if he was to go help her, she would start something out of it.
But, like, I'm a grown person.
Because why put yourself in a situation?
I understand that. But I'm a grown person, and that right there ties into what we were talking about earlier. And just know, when I say this, I'm going to please forgive me if I raise up, because I do not, like, man, I have number love for you, and I realize that this is what's wrong. Like, you don't respect me. And, like it's not, like, I don't want you to feel like I'm mad when I say this. I just understand that you don't respect me as a man. You don't respect my masculinity. You don't respect any of that. And for you...
I don't think that's true.
No, it is true. Because for you to not allow me to make a decision with my own son, you asked me to sign away my rights so you can have control over my own son.
No, because you want control.
Stop it. No.
You want control.
If I was just telling you that I don't have any animosity towards a person who is trying to destroy me, why would I have that against your parents and your mother and your sisters who love him? Why would I?
I don't know if you'll get into an argument with my mom and then you'll be like, oh,
like when have I showed disrespect to your mother other than when she tried to control me?
Exactly. So then if you're feeling controlled, I don't want you to take it out on them and be like, well, no, this and that.
She would never control me. So you telling me that as a man I need to sit there and allow a woman to control me that ain't the person that I'm with?
No, but if she says something, you ignore it and you give her. And you don't have to sit there and fight.
Listen what you're saying. You're talking as if I'm not a man. You're talking as if I don't know no better. Like yo, I could ignore people.
Sometimes you don't.
Okay.
That's the problem.
Okay, that's cool.
What better feeling is there when you can lay your head down to rest with a clear mind, a heart of forgiveness, and know that when you awake, you can truly be able to be a blessing to whoever you come around.
Welcome to Peace Beyond Understanding. I'm Macro,
and I'm here to give a perspective and the confessions of the lessons I've experienced on my spiritual walk during this custody case and the judicial process. For those who take the role of being a spiritual CEO for your family seriously.
Thanks for watching.
Please like and share.
This video will give you the view of how one will potentially be treated when dealing with your custody case by the family, friends, and different entities that one may encounter to assist with the child you're attempting to get custody for.
For it is written, if you hear that a friend has done something wrong, ask him about it. Maybe it isn't true.
If it is true, he won't do it again. If you hear that the neighbor says something he shouldn't, ask him about it. Maybe he didn't say it. If he did, he won't say it again. If you hear something bad about a friend, ask him about it. It might be a lie. Don't believe everything you hear. There is one that slippeth in his speech, but none from his heart. And who is he that has not offended with the tongue? If you hear something that make you angry with your neighbor, ask him about it before you threaten him. Leave the matter to the laws of the Most High. The fear of the Lord is the first step to be accepted of him, and wisdom obtaineth his love. The knowledge of the commandments of the Lord is the doctrine of life. Ecclesiasticus chapter 19, verse 13 through 18.
When I was studying, I saved these sets of scriptures because I was impressed by how something written so long ago is the solution to the issues we as a whole deal with today. This made me wonder why the Apocrypha was removed from the modern Bible. When I started my walk, I was blindly following people who said stuff like, if it's not in the Bible, it wasn't needed. Man, I tell you, the enemy is very clever. No matter how far we come, the enemy presence is always going to be there to tempt you to go against the Most High. More on that later in this video. So, today, I will be going over what one can expect when dealing with flying monkeys hired by the vessel used to derail you from your purpose. Then I will explain what was going through my head as the individual that was outside of that circle and dealing with these betrayals. And I will finish it off by explaining how I found peace with dealing with these groups falling for the untruths told and choosing sides to stand with the vessel that I allowed in. When dealing with the enemy, one must understand that the main goal is to destroy you. In all of your encounters, things start going left. You seek comfort in those that came up with you because you believe they would understand the struggles and understand why you would be upset because they saw where you came from and you figured that you could use them as a shoulder to cry on.
Wrong.
Well, you can. Let me say that. You can. But you got to remember discernment is key. When these people give you advice, you must run it past the Most High because usually the world is doing its number on all of us and the people tend to react based off of what will make them feel good at the moment instead of what the Most High tell us that will bring him glory. Being that we are eventually going to deal with one another, this presentation will assist you with the guidance around dealing with those individuals when going through these trials that make you believe that you are separate from God's protection. There are many terms today that I found that summarize these friends that capture who and what I'm talking about and give you an idea of who Job had to deal with. They are known as the third parties, flying monkeys, karmics, energy vampires, and monitoring spirit, which is the one that freaked me out when I initially realized how close they are tied to us. Like these were people that I'm waking up, looking out. I didn't think that they had anything to do with my situation, but kind of like that scene in Devil's Advocate, how that reporter turned to the devil.
Vanity. Definitely my favorite sin.
Man, that touched home so much. I understood how that person that you think that have nothing to do with what you just left, how that person can still be part of the enemy. Let me know that, hey, I gotta be alert and I gotta make sure that I'm walking under the guidance of the Lord because it's real out here. So, with understanding that we are at war, who do you believe the enemy attaches to carry out his plan the most? The saddest thing about betrayal is that it never comes from your enemy. If you expect loyalty from someone you just met, I would suggest doing some deep soul searching. This is why the Most High informs us to
Test all fruit. Matthew chapter 7.
From my experience, this isn't a one-time thing either. You have to continually check these fruits during the duration of the relationship. Man, the enemy, he's at work. I know I got lazy. After all that went down with my custody case, the only person that I could truly check their fruits every day was my sons. For others, I didn't pay much attention to because they were grown and the Most High didn't make them my responsibility. That's how I looked at it. Me being like that actually helped me with my healing, but I explain about that later. Now, the third parties, they consist of your neighbors, your family members, like your mom, brothers, and sisters on both sides. In the intro of this video, one can see how the lines were blurred with the family members due to one of the parties not setting clear boundaries, as SM2 mother must have thought that she was dealing with some run-of-the-mill type guy. But note that this was a clear sign of different stories being told to each side. She could have easily told her mom, Macro isn't going for this, but after listening to this video as I was creating it, I realized the relationship with her mother wasn't what I thought it was.
Previously,
And I'm going to I. When you suggested that I pick up at, do you see where you suggested that I pick up at your stepdad?
Yes.
Did you not put in your filing that your mom was willing to testify that I broke into your house?
Yes, but it's my stepdad.
Is that your mom's house?
It is.
Okay. I would any further questions.
During my custody case, I found out that she was receiving support from that side, and that's why she was able to be led into court and follow the script her lawyer laid out to perjure herself and get a person whose goals was to only be a blessing to his child, rights restricted, and as you all could see in the previous video, was allowed to. She would contact my family and have them believe in things that was untrue. My little sister informed me of this and actually sent me messages she received from SM2 that she was worried about. I thank my little sister for staying out the drama, but I was unsure where my sister stood because the enemy has ways to twist things up, so I decided to keep it there. But I'll let you know what I did later to remedy these issues altogether. And then you have the friends, mutual friends, if you want to be lenient. I care less to police who a person was around because the consequences are going to be for that individual involved to handle if they do something foolish. Even though I thought this was efficient for my sake, it was a lazy on my part because
Birds of a feather flock together. Amos chapter 3 verse 3.
also the reason these family and friends didn't come around would be because they saw how I carried on.
I was respectful and therefore I required respect back. Proverbs chapter 15 verse 12.
The ones that did come around, they did so seldomly, and I guess they were being told a story as if I had some disdain for them, but one can see how the common factor in all of this was SM2. My friends were people that I grew to respect because they showed quality I felt was worthy of respect. I introduced SM2 to them because this was someone I was planning on having a family with, so I figured why not introduce her to the people I thought would be in my life forever. As a friend, I understand that to achieve this level of status, you're going to be grinding non-stop, and I expect you to be grinding because, you know, the quicker you lay things out, the quicker and sooner you'll be able to sit back and relax and enjoy yourself, enjoy your family, the blessings that the Most High gives us. Now, when these guys would reach out, I always picked up, showed support the best way I could, because I'm like, hey, I'm free, I can make time, yeah, let's go, let's do it. What's disturbing is that I found out that this could be considered people pleasing, and the enemy will get people to take until they can't take anymore. This is why one must use discernment and set boundaries with guidelines with those they deal with when they're out in this world. Well, SM2 had this way about her where she would mention things about my friends, and I have a little side chatter with her explaining things without thinking about it. I remember when we first started talking, I had this dude I consider my little brother. When I met him, he was on his spiritual walk and we connected heavily. After a divorce, he came to stay in the state where I was at, and I was like, hey, until you get on your feet, you can stay with me. SM2, she would say things, when we go on our walks, and hearing it, it was like, you know, I was trying to explain him, like, oh, that's just how he is, you know, whatever. But, you know, it got to a point where I ended up asking him directly while she was standing right there. He handled it straight up, in my opinion, and I didn't think nothing of it until later, and I started noticing that it was a lot of negative energy. Time went by. He eventually moved on, but it was toxic to the point because SM2, she was telling me things like he tried to come on to her and other things that made me appreciate him leaving. Like, it wasn't things that make me check him straight up, because she wouldn't say it to a point where he was out of line, but now I just know not to have people around my situation, because, you know, the way that she was able to turn it make me think something now. But when he left, I was like, I appreciate it. Now, when I found out who SM2 really was, I knew what she potentially could have done. I mentioned the ending of the relationship when it happened to another one of my boys, and his response wasn't what I expected for the one dude that I was talking about my plans of marriage to. Confused with his response, I wondered why he seemed so cold, and after months of finding myself getting closer with the Most High, I realized that she just had to be telling these people these side stories. And I know that if you take anything out of context, it will sound as if I don't care for you or I had something negative to say. Seeing how I connected her with all who I was close to, it started making sense of all the questionable fallouts I was having, and I started connecting the dots between the friends, SM2, and how it ended with me being that I really had no one to turn to. Now, then there, the government agency. You got CPS, who was weaponized to open abuse cases, which is open during a court hearing, that can be thrown in the mix with all the other false allegations and used to paint a narrative of a parent that has questionable behaviors to a judge who isn't doing the due process to actually review the case and testimony, as y'all saw. I know during my custody cases, I had 5 cases open on me, and even though all of them came back unsubstantiated, you was still placed in final orders, and those final orders was used in other cases and documented into one to where if I ever tried to go back and get more time with my children, they can just point at these documents signed by officials who cared less what I had to say. I still wonder why these judges would do what they did, being in a position where they affect so many families, but my personal opinion is they wanted to ensure that they didn't sign anything that will be overturned in the appellate court, allegedly. I'm not sure how it technically worked, but I think that it looks bad if a judge's decision is overturned, especially from a person who's representing themselves. From what I saw, they did enough to where they ensured that each party got what they figured each party really wanted with a small compromise. In my case, I wasn't fleeced for over $50,000, $60,000, and SM2, she got the free money and possibility to keep me tied into Sodom and Gomorrah by holding our son hostage. Another entity was the DA. It reminded me of the agents from the Matrix. The main thing I would like to share about these people is that they aren't there to help the one that's trying to keep things in order. The goal is to ensure that Lot's wife keeps you in Sodom and Gomorrah as long as she can. I was paying SM1 and SM2 with checks from my bank that would go to them automatically. It would mail to their house, and it kept the paper trail and all that stuff. When I had to step away from my job, I informed both SM1 and SM2 about the support payments being halved that I was going to be sending. Due to not wanting to go back through the judicial process, I left it up to them if they wanted to initiate this process. SM1 did, and I received notice of a case being opened by the DA office. I called and spoke with them to get information about the stuff I needed to get the things in order. Found out that I could do a modification through them and that it would be a way that I could adjust no final order. I figured this would be perfect, and I set up things for both SM1 and SM2. I followed up a couple weeks later about the SM2 case, and I was told that they didn't hear from her yet. I asked what would happen if they never hear from her, and they told me that case that I opened would be closed, and I would just have to reopen it again later. This is where I realized that if I didn't respond to SM1's notice of a case being open, that they was going to do everything under the sun to ensure that I get punished for SM1. But being that SM2 didn't open the case, they were just going to throw it away, and I had to wait for SM2 to want to get me caught up and giving her the power to create havoc whenever. So she eventually contacted them and things got handled. Another thing that messed me up with the modification, it stated that it takes 6 months to get that looked at, but the enforcement of these orders start within 2 months. So they got 4 months to start, like, I don't know, just creating havoc. And that's, like, again, one of the reasons why I started the paperwork for SM2, because I want to get it all out the way. By the time both of them get done, I can move forward with exact peace. Now, for the enforcement measures that they were going to use, it ranged from suspending your license, surrendering your tax returns, jail time, and all these other things that are actually counterproductive if they truly wanted to ensure the stability of the child was achieved. Now, as for what was going through my head when dealing with this confusion and chaos of these different people that supposed to be people that I rock with, and these different entities supposed to be there to assist me with ensuring that my child is receiving the care that he needs.
For it is written, whoso is partnered with a thief hates his own soul. He hears curses and discloses it not. Proverbs chapter 29, verse 24.
Seeing the cross of everybody in this society was hurtful. If a woman lied and destroyed the child's life just for money, this should let anyone who's around her know that she cares for nothing. But more than likely, all those people that are around her supporting her are in it for what they perceive as valuable, making them just as guilty. If you're a spiritual CEO and you want to stay plugged in with these organizations, these people, these family units, then you're just as guilty as well. Because what good can come from being in a society that is doing anything for cash? Forgiving others is hard, and knowing that this is the only way for me to stay and ensure that I was under the Most High protection, I had to accept that I allowed these people around me who invited all this chaos into my life. I didn't want to do it again, so when I forgave them, I ended the relationship.
For it is written, never trust thy enemy. His wickedness is as destructive as rust. Watch out and be on guard against him, even if he pretend to be ever so humble. He is like a metal mirror that rusts away if you don't keep it polished. Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 10.
If you consider me a friend and you see that this person came to you claiming that I stated something foul, let me know and give me a chance to give you the context of that. Being that you kept it to yourself, I take it that you either wanted a reason to hate me and you resented me to where you wanted to see me building on top of a landmine that would eventually blow up and place me back at level 1, despite all the work you saw me putting in. A lot of people can say that, oh, I'm being hard, or, you know, like I'm being paranoid, or I can't expect people to do what I do for them. It reminds me of the scene in Casino where he told old boy, either you're in on it or you're too stupid to know what is going on. Either way, I can't have you around me.
4 reels, 7s across 3 $15,000 jackpots. Do you have any idea what the odds are?
Shoot, it's got to be in the millions, maybe more.
3 fucking jackpots in 20 minutes? Why didn't you pull the machines? Why didn't you call me?
Well, it happened so quick. 3 guys won. I didn't have a chance to call you.
You see the scam? You didn't see what was going on?
Well, there's no way to determine that, Sam.
Yes, there is. An infallible way. They won.
Well, it's a casino. People got to win sometimes.
Hey, Ward, you're pissing me off. Now you're insulting my intelligence. What do you think, I'm a fucking idiot? You know damn well somebody had to get into those machines and set those reels. The probability on one 4-reel machine is 1.5 million to 1. On 3 machines in a row, it's in the billions. It cannot happen. Would not happen. You fucking Momo, what's the matter with you? Didn't you see you being set up on the second win?
I really think
you didn't see that you were being set up on the second win?
I really think you're overreacting.
Listen, you yokel, I had it with you. I've been carrying your ass ass in this place ever since I got here. Get your ass and get your things and get out of here.
You're firing me?
I'm firing you. No, I'm not firing. I'm firing you.
You might regret this, Mr. Rothstein.
I'll regret it even more if I keep you on.
This is not the way to treat people.
Listen, if you didn't know you're being scammed, you're too f***ing dumb to keep this job. If you did know, you were in on it. Either way, you're out. Get out. Go on, let's go.
This is how I found peace, seeing these groups falling for the untruths and choosing sides.
For it is written, get rid of all bitterness, rage, and anger, brawling and slander, along with every form of malice. Be kind and compassionate to one another, forgiving each other, as Yahweh forgave you. Ephesians chapter 4, verse 31 through 32.
What I take from that is no resentment, no hatred, no malice. First of all, I understand that it's a systematic attempt to remove the Most High from how we function as people. And people don't understand that the farther we go, the more and more I just see that chaos is being accepted as normal. You know, what's the saying? In the end times, good will be considered evil and evil will be considered good. You know, you hear people all the time that's asking the question, what happened to the respect people had in the past? You hear it in relationship talks about the women of the past and all that stuff. But as you can see, society as a whole, they continually do things to, in my opinion, have me question why are they taking away certain rules. Like I remember when they were saying that you could steal and all that stuff and they won't charge you for it, stuff like that. I was like, man, like that's not helpful, but I understand why they're doing it. You know, they gotta allow the chaos to continue to build to where it's just accepted. Me understanding and realizing that all these people, they had some type of bitterness towards me due to us having conversation and them probably having heard something, because I know SM2, she did her rounds, because like she would tell me conversations she was having with dudes, and because I was busy doing what I'm doing, I didn't notice that, you know, she was sowing seeds of destruction right there within all the people that I was around. Now, my thing is, you know, if I'm talking to you and someone then told you to mention it, because I don't want you to feel like I crossed you or anything. I have no problem speaking to you and letting you know why I said something, especially if you take it as disrespect. I want us to be straight up, but 9 times out of 10, when she would say something, I ain't think nothing of it, and I would just be like, I try to explain it away like she did with my little brother, but eventually I saw how that went, and I was like, oh, that's what she's been doing to all these people. So the one thing that I did was, anybody that had a connection that knew her and knew her through me, I knew that she attempted to sow seeds of chaos, so I just ended the relationship with everyone that knew her, and I left it at that, because I didn't want them having malice for me, and I didn't want them having to choose between either one of us. So I was like, hey man, I appreciate everything you did for me, but we're no longer going to talk, because I just knew how destructive that she was. She destroyed the relationship with my child, and you know, due to my fault, like I take accountability for it, and me knowing that she would do that to our own son, like I know she did it to people that I care less about. Like, don't get me wrong, like I respect people, but the thing is I have a way of seeing things. So with knowing that she had these conversations, instead of going down a rabbit hole of who betrayed me or who she lied to, I just accept the fact that all the people that I dealt with, I love them intentionally, and I wasn't expecting to get anything from them. I just ended the relationship in a peaceful manner, understanding that moving forward, I need to make sure that I set these boundaries with the woman that I'm with, my friends and family, and make sure that everyone knows how I expect them to be around me and deal with who I'm dealing with. I let a lot of the lines get blurred, and you know, it put me in a position where I'm basically wasting time, taking away from my purpose. I remember, what was it, when my brother and my stepfather passed away, a question was raised on if I would be coming home. Emotionally, I did want to go, but my spirit was telling me that those that I would be going to see are no longer here, and I would just be dealing with people who stressed them out and only wanted to see what they could get or say about me. So I, like the Most High, He put within my spirit, He was like, hey man, you know how you felt. I knew that I didn't leave any negative feelings with my brother or my stepfather, so I decided just to keep away because I didn't need that enemy causing any more havoc amongst those that I have so much empathy for. And I left it at that. Again, I accepted responsibility and forgave myself for not taking the time to see who I was dealing with. I also realized that being a person that was upset because I allowed people to think that they was taking advantage of me wasn't going to get me anywhere. And I knew that I was actually excited with assisting these people, and being that it was their loss, if anything, because I wanted to see them win probably more than they wanted to win. So for them to want to take advantage of me, once I realized, it was a couple of my partners or people that was trying to, mess me over and laugh at me or whatnot, I'm like, hey man, hopefully they got what they needed out of it. Nothing but love for them, no resentment. I wish them the best. I realized that the only one that truly matters is the Most High, because the enemy be out here working. I understand now that not taking the time to see who you're dealing with will have you explaining yourself to CPS and how you're raising your children, proving to the DA that you're paying your bills while they're still trying to exploit you for every cent, regardless of any hardship that you're experiencing. I also noticed and figured that not correcting the disrespect was my fault, and going forward, I need to make sure that I remember to
Guard my heart. Proverbs chapter 4 verse 23, when dealing with anyone.
don't give people benefit of the doubt when disrespect arises. They can go to work, deal with the law, show respect to people who will let them go as soon as they become useless. Why would the person who is responsible for the souls of that home accept someone treating them as if they are just suggesting that they be respected? Spiritual CEOs, understand your value, understand your role. Consequences is a must, and if you choose not to do so, don't be surprised when you're in court and everyone is claiming that you're the villain. To conclude,
For it is written, if you hear that a friend has done something wrong, ask him about it. Maybe it isn't true. If it is true, you won't do it again. If you hear that the neighbor says something he shouldn't, ask him about it. Maybe he didn't say it. If he did, he won't say it again. If you hear something bad about a friend, ask him about it. It might be a lie. Don't believe everything you hear. There is one that slippeth in his speech, but none from his heart. And who is he that has not offended with the tongue? If you hear something that make you angry with your neighbor, ask him about it before you threaten him. Leave the matter to the laws of the Most High. The fear of the Lord is the first step to be accepted of him, and wisdom obtaineth his love. The knowledge of the commandments of the Lord is the doctrine of life. Ecclesiasticus chapter 19, verse 13 through 18.
in this presentation, I have gone over what to expect when you're dealing with flying monkeys, family, friends, and the entities that are here to supposedly help you with your child and assist you with making sure that your child is stable. I explained what was going through the head of the individual on the outside of the circle, and then I finished off with explaining how I found peace with dealing with the group falling for the untruth and choosing sides. In closing, I accept that the powers to be has done an immaculate number on us as a whole. Those at the top had systems in place all the way down to the person you share a bed with to keep you trapped in Sodom and Gomorrah. They promise your woman the power to do as she sees fit with no repercussion, total immunity from whatever damage she does. The family and friends, they get something from snaking you regardless of how little value it may be to them. The different department, this is how they get paid and take care of their family. To them, why would they jeopardize the quality of life for someone who should have done their due diligence and controlled themselves?
Do you see how the enemy works?
You were tricked into thinking this world really cares, but everyone is trapped, and when they realize it, it's too late because they are emotionally invested, choosing to rather take the punishment for the pleasure and comfort that they are receiving at the moment. And that is why, as a whole, we must understand our walk and the spiritual war. Thank you for making it to the end with me.
This is Peace Beyond Understanding, a macro spirit.
And I hope you have gotten clarity and guidance for your walk. Like it, you found this valuable, please let me know in the comments below and share it with others who you believe may benefit. If you would like to support, links and info on how you can donate is in the descriptions below. Till next time.
Put the Most High first. Know your value. Stay humble. Let's stay spiritual.
You don't care no one, every place you show. They claim you found, don't waste no time trying to prove your loyalty. They chose a side, then let them be in peace with your enemy. This not how it's supposed to be. Who you want don't need no proof. Fall for choices, take a moment, bring them glory by keeping cool. What you have to do is spiritual, first break loose. Understand the world of you. You confused, think they approve. Their opinion doesn't matter. Detach, rebuilding the truth. They done you wrong, eyes on the throne, cause who you really voted to. You wonder.
Remember the good times, appreciate the lessons.
Thanks for watching.